This is a video for the noobs who are missing ships and equipment and don't know where to even begin with a Nagato meta fight, despite having watched 50 one-shot videos. If you are a self-proclaimed expert, feel free to click off the video now, because you know way too much and there's just nothing I can help you with. This video isn't going to contain any kind of new discoveries, but I'm just going over some fundamentals that you should know with regards to the Nagato meta fight. If you want to take your knowledge to the next level, you must understand equipment and all its intricacies, so I'll leave my in-depth equipment guides in the description if you're interested in furthering your knowledge. The first tip is to use Helena. Don't let so-called experts gaslight you into thinking you shouldn't use her because they don't have any need for her. With her massively powerful debuff, she is still the highest contributor of damage from the Vanguard in most scenarios, although a bit inconsistent. If you see people using another damage-oriented ship like Unzen, Kazagumo, or Plymouth, and if you're wondering if you can replace them with Helena, the answer is yes. She is obtainable early on in the game and does not need to be babysat at all to survive in this fight. If she's at the appropriate level, that is. Who she cannot replace though are main tanks. And this shouldn't need to be said, but her debuff has a duration, so just make sure that your carriers and battleships attack during it and not before or after, okay? The second golden tidbit is to use ships that are effective against her armor type. How can you tell what armor type she is and what equipment are effective against it? Check the equipment guide playlist. But briefly, she has heavy armor, so the most effective equipment types are going to be torpedoes and torpedo bombers, followed by dive bombers and AP battleship guns. Let's take a look at a few ships as examples. Ark Royal, as you can see, has two very powerful torpedo bombers in her loadout. In comparison, Indomitable has two fighters, which are not effective against heavy armor, as well as a weak torpedo bomber slot. Therefore, Ark Royal is much better against heavy armor than Indomitable. Keep in mind that loadouts are not the only thing that play into a ship's strength, but if you take a look at any random tier list, and there are two ships in the same tier, one with a torpedo bomber focus and another with fighter focus, it's almost always the case that the torpedo bomber focused ship is better against heavy armor. A Vanguard example would be something like Unzen, who has double torpedoes on top of very powerful torpedoes, versus Hindenburg, who is almost entirely gun-based, which are not great against heavy armor, and Unzen is much better here against heavy armor. You can also look a little deeper at ships by going into their barrages. This is the page where I find all information on barrages, and it will be linked in the description. Take Bismarck's Way for example. A large portion of her barrages have 1.4 scaling against light armor, which is its highest, and 0.9 scaling against heavy, which is its lowest. Obviously, the base damage matters too, but Bismarck's Way is in fact much more powerful against light armor than heavy because of this fact. On the other hand, Musashi has a 1.0 scaling against light armor and 1.4 against heavy, meaning she's much more powerful against heavy than light armor. I hope you're starting to see a pattern now. The last gospel, which you must take at face value or else your account will be bricked, is to have a way to keep Nagato still, or at least slowed, during the latter parts of the fight. It's very difficult to deal reliable damage to an enemy that is moving all over the place. The best ways to stop her are Implacable, and then August 1 Parseval, and Formidable. Obviously, Nakhimov too, but if you're watching this video, I know your Nakhimov is not Def 30, so don't even actually me in the comments. If you can't freeze her, at least slow her. There are many ways to do so, including Ark Royal, hint hint, I've mentioned her twice now, Chkalov at Face M5, Soyuz, A-Gear, and Eldritch Retrofit. There are more options than just these, but they are among the best. Anyway, that's all you're getting for now. If you want to learn more, go check the equipment guides in the description. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.